Hi folks, my name's Darren and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing an episode of Does It Bass on the Line 6 Pod Go. Now for anybody who's watched my channel for any length of time or seen the odd video, you know that I'm a massive advocate for Line 6 products as they currently are for bass. The Line 6 Helix floor, Helix rack, absolutely love them and they are my go-to Helix products. However, sometimes this gets a little bit bulky. Sometimes I just want something to grab and go. Literally pick it up, stick it in the car, go on an open mic night, go to a dep gig where I'm standing in for someone, or just an acoustic gig where I need something just for my acoustic patches, bit of reverb, looper, etc, etc. I did toy with the idea of getting a HX Stomp XL for that purpose, and if I'm going to be honest with you, for some purposes, that probably would serve me a little bit better. However, with the Line 6 Pod Go, now this is the wireless version, but I'll get to that. Even though I like things like dual pass for amps and clean blends, I found a way to make this work for me and to be a really, really worthy grab and go board. Now for the price, nobody's going to argue with it. Yes, okay, it's going to have a couple of different features to the full fat Helix, the HX series, etc, etc. But it's still great, it still works, and it works great for bass. So, before I get into it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I know content isn't coming up as fast as it was previously, but I am going to make a concerted effort to do a little bit more. Life happens! So I've made 3 presets in the Pod Go, and I've called them quite simply Bass 1, Bass 2, and Bass Synth-ish. Now, the Pod Go, compared to the Line 6 Helix, it does have its limitations. For instance, there's no MIDI, which I have had to try and overcome. In here, I've got a Source Audio C4 synth, which I control through the Helix via MIDI in one of the effects loops, and I use the Helix control to control the MIDI for the different presets on that. Which is why I have a bass synth-ish patch, which is just a do it all in one. It's not great. I'm not going to be adding it to the public library, which you guys can grab. It just does a job. It's nothing compared to the C4, but it's passable. The amount of times I'm going to be using this in a live gig is slim to none. Anything that I would have to use a bass synth for, I will be taking my rack because it's got more bells and whistles in terms of the Helix that I would need for those bigger gigs. But in terms of a grab and go, Daz, can you come and play bass for us for a night? Yeah, great. This will be coming with me. Whether it's direct or not, doesn't matter. I'll take a PA speaker, put that through it. Probably won't even have my in-ear monitors for one of those gigs. Just this and a speaker. So far, I've used it at an open mic night. I've used it for one of my acoustic gigs. Yes, 6-string, I know. Let's say nothing about it. And I just use it for the looper, bit of reverb, nothing more than that. I've got a couple of guitar presets where I've mirrored my drop tuning scenario of this, where I use the polyphonic pitch shifting. But obviously this doesn't have the polyphonic pitch shifting, so we're not going to get into that. I might look at another episode on the guitar aspect of it, maybe after I record this one. So one of the things I have found most limiting about the Pod Go, I like a clean blend. I like a signal path that's split, clean, affected. We don't have this in the Pod Go, as we know. So what I've had to do is I've had to make sure that the effects that I choose have the option for a clean blend, and I've got to really, really tweak those effects. For example, if I click the view button here, for my overdrive, or my distortion, I've got the Obsidian 7000. Now, if my drive is there, my level is there, yada, yada, yada. If I go over to the blend, is where, so look, there you go, anyway, it was first page blend. I've got a 50-50, so I've still got that clean blend coming through it. So that's handy, I like that, I like that. Next up, we've got the Tilt EQ. Now, obviously, I don't need a clean blend with this one. I'll go over the sounds later on. And big SVT norm as opposed to the SVT4 Pro, which I use in here. This has got less options on it, so it takes up less DSP. I got the cab block there, the SVTE. Chorus, again, something with a nice clean blend on it. I've got the mix at 50%. And I've pressed the wrong button. and then I move over here to a reverb, again with a mix of about 40%. So I'm still getting that clean blend. I can't use any sort of compression on it, but I got a different patch for compression. So now on to some tones. I'm using my 2013 Fender Standard Jazz Bass. Haven't seen it on the channel an awful lot, but I have been playing more 4-string recently rather than 5-string. I've been getting back into the swing of using a 4-string, and yeah, I'm loving it. But this is like pretty much my favorite bass ever. It's been with me for since 2013. And it served me very, very well, so I'm going to use that. I am also using the G10-2 wireless. Again, not really reviewing that as such, because I know it does drop out. It does work. I used it in the gig the other day, but I'm not going to be reviewing that side of it. So, straight up clean tone from the Ampeg SVT model on here. Yeah, pretty basic, clean sound, you know, I can get away with it. So when I want a bit of overdrive, I do the Obsidian 7000, just to give it a bit of oomph. Yeah, bit of grunt, and if I do the unholy thing of using a pick. It works, no one's going to argue with that. Again, it's got a clean blend under it. Let's put the bass octaver on. Yeah, it's basic, can't argue with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tilt on and the echo on, because I like to give it a bit of a oldie bassy type sound. I don't even know how to describe it. There's my fingers, get it a bit better. But I like that sort of sound for a bit of it gives it a bit more of a roomy sound. And then last but not least, we've got everyone's favourite, the chorus. Nice and simple. Like I said, you can get some good tones out of it. There's still that clean blend coming through it, so I'm not going to argue with it at all. So let's get onto the bass too. I don't know why my Ampeg amp is on a switch, but exactly the same. There's no difference there. So let's have a look what we got here. We got a compressor. It works. It's a compressor. Bass octave again, same one. We got a chorus. Lovely. And we got the echo again. Don't know what that was, but never mind. And we got a parametric EQ, which I couple again with the echo for a bit of that that sort of action. So yeah, just give it a bit more of a roomy sort of sound. Then the one that gets me, and I don't know why it gets me, I just can't sort of get my head around getting synth sound without something like the C4. Doesn't quite work as you can hear, but I tell you what I'll do, I'll roll that off. So yeah, that was just a quick going over of the Line 6 Pod Go, obviously the wireless version. Am I impressed with it? I mean, after coming from a Helix, and also bearing in mind the price point and bearing in mind the limitations of it, am I impressed with the sounds? I am. Am I impressed with it? Yeah, the sounds, I am impressed with it. I'm not going to argue with that in any way, shape or form. The sounds are great. Yeah, it's a bit annoying that there's no clean blend on there. I have tried coming up with some sort of way of getting a clean blend on it. But unfortunately, the way that I wanted to try it, it just wouldn't work. I was planning on using the amp out coupled with the effects return, moving that around a little bit, but then obviously I'd be losing effects part of the chain before the cabs, so it wasn't worth it. But yeah, I'm probably going to build a board around this, just with, you know, somewhere to put my C4 synth on it, because I was missing that. And if I am planning on taking this to any of my main gigs where there's stairs or anything like that, then I'm going to need something like that. Am I going to rip that apart? Probably. It's going to be a bit of a pain putting it back together for the gigs where I need that full setup. However, I may just buy another C4 synth, add it to the board. So I've got this, a C4 synth, a little 2-button MIDI controller for the C4 to go through my presets, because this doesn't have MIDI. But that will be it. I won't have anything else. It'll be this, a C4 synth, and a little MIDI controller. I may document the build. I don't know. It might be pointless because it's just going to be around this. Does it bass? Yes. Yeah, it does bass. Like I said, if you look at the clean blend side of things, if you're careful about the effects you choose and they've got a clean blend in it, then you can sort of tweak it so that the dry bass is still coming through, then brilliant. You can't sort of do any parallel compression or anything like that, so you're compressing one side, affecting the other. Doesn't work like that. But it's not built for that. It's not designed for that. In my honest opinion, you know, we're comparing apples to oranges. They are two different products in a sense when you're comparing it with the HX Stomp XL, all that, just because of the DSP, the signal pass. Like this, you know, you've seen in many other videos on YouTube about this particular product where, you know, you got set DSP for everything. You know, you got one block you have to use for amp, you have to use for a cab, you have to use for an EQ, you have to use for a wah. But there's ways and means around everything, you know. I like having one preset for a gig. That is it. With this, I've had to make 3. Can I deal with it? Yeah, I can. It's not something that's going to kill me to switch over. I will have to remember to switch over. So if I need something for where I'm, you know, needing compression, I'll have to switch to another one. And if I needed something with the synth side of things, which is awful, but I'll deal with it, then I'll have to switch to another one. It's quick enough to switch. You know, I'm not going to show you the full functionality of it because there's so many videos on that. That's just the way I use it for bass. There's not an awful lot of bass content out there for this, so I thought I would do some service and do something specifically for the bass. So bass players, if you are looking for a grab and go board where you can have a bit of fun with it, use it as an interface, just get some basic sounds out of it to get you through a show, use it as a backup to something like the Helix or the HX Stomp, you know, it'll work brilliantly. And I do commend Line 6 for coming up with the Line 6 Pod Go, because I think it's something that people were wanting for a while, but it's probably going to be more along the lines of the HX Stomp XL you're going to want if you do, like, again, those parallel paths, more DSP, etc, etc. As I said at the top of the show, if you like what you saw, please make sure you like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what your favourite Line 6 product is for bass. If you're a bass player and you use Line 6 products, let me know what it is. Like, I'm a massive advocate of Line 6 stuff for bass. I think that people need to look more at it for bass. And yeah, I mean, they're great products. And this, I guess my seal of approval. Not that anyone really cares too much about a bald guy from Wales on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. And I'll be using it more often. Thanks very much, guys. I will see you again very soon. Bye!